I never imagined I'd be the kind of man who could vanish from his own life without leaving a trace. I used to believe disappearing was something cowards did. Men who couldn't face consequences. Men who ran. But I learned the hard way that sometimes disappearing isn't running at all. Sometimes it's the only way to survive. My name is Callum Reeves. I'm 44 now. Back then, I was 32, married for 6 years to a woman named Maribel. We lived just outside Bristol, in a modest brick house with a narrow garden and a crooked fence I kept promising to fix. I worked as a civil engineer. Long hours, steady pay, predictable life. Maribel taught art at a local primary school. She was vibrant when we met. Loud laugh, messy hair. The kind of woman who made strangers feel like friends within minutes. For most of our marriage, I thought we were solid. Not perfect, but solid. We argued about money sometimes, about how late I worked, about her saying I was emotionally distant. I told myself those were normal cracks, the kind every marriage gets. We were trying for a baby for over a year when she finally told me she was pregnant. I remember lifting her off the floor in our kitchen, both of us laughing, spinning like idiots. I thought that moment sealed everything. The pregnancy was rough. Maribel was tired all the time, irritable. She stopped wanting to be touched. I blamed hormones. I picked up more chores, cooked, cleaned, went to every appointment I could. I talked to her belly at night when she slept. I pictured teaching my son or daughter how to ride a bike, how to throw a punch, how to stand their ground. The baby, a girl, was born in early November. Hazel. That's the name Maribel chose. I cried when I held her. Full, chest-heaving sobs. She had dark hair and long fingers. Nurses said she looked just like her mother. I didn't question it. Why would I? The first doubt crept in quietly. A comment from Maribel's cousin at a family dinner. "She doesn't look anything like you, does she?" Everyone laughed. I forced a smile. That night, I stared at Hazel's face longer than I should have. I told myself genetics were weird. End of story. But doubt is a seed. Once planted, it grows on its own. Hazel's blood type didn't match mine. The pediatrician said it was rare, but possible. Maribel got defensive when I asked questions, accused me of not trusting her, of ruining a happy moment. I apologized, repeatedly. Still, something inside me tightened. I ordered a DNA test in secret. I hated myself for it. Felt like a traitor. I waited until Maribel took Hazel to visit her sister. I swabbed the inside of the baby's cheek with shaking hands. I sent it off and prayed I was wrong. I wasn't. The email arrived on a Tuesday afternoon while I was at work. Probability of paternity, 0%. I read it 3 times. My vision tunneled. The office noise faded. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, staring at the screen, feeling something fundamental collapse inside me. That night, I asked Maribel one question. Calmly. Who is he? She didn't deny it. Didn't even pretend. She sat down, put her face in her hands, and said it was a mistake. A coworker. One time. Before she knew she was pregnant. She said she was going to tell me. Eventually. She said Hazel still needed a father. That I was a good man. Something went quiet inside my head. Not rage. Not sorrow. Clarity. I realized in that moment that everything I thought my life was built on was a lie. Not just the affair. The daily performance. The way she let me believe Hazel was mine. The way she watched me bond with a child who wasn't mine and said nothing. I didn't argue. I didn't threaten. I didn't beg. I slept in the guest room that night. In the morning, I packed a suitcase, clothes, documents, my laptop. I transferred my savings to a new account. I left my wedding ring on the kitchen counter. I wrote no note. I disappeared. I moved north, changed my phone number, took a contract job in Leeds under a shortened version of my name. I didn't tell my parents where I was. I told my employer I needed space. I cut every tie that led back to that house. It wasn't punishment. It was preservation. The first year was brutal. Nights were the worst. I'd wake up convinced I heard a baby crying. Guilt gnawed at me. Not for leaving Medibel, for grieving a child who was never mine to lose. Therapy helped. So did routine. So did time. Years passed. I built a quieter life. Smaller. Cleaner. I met people who knew nothing about my past. I learned how to breathe again without that constant pressure in my chest. I stopped checking social media. Stopped wondering. Then one afternoon, nearly 9 years later, my email pinged with a name I hadn't seen in a decade. Medibel. She said she'd been looking for me for years. Said Hazel had questions. Said she needed closure. She said disappearing had been cruel. That I owed them an explanation. That Hazel deserved to know me. I stared at the message for a long time. I felt no anger, no panic, just a familiar stillness. I typed one sentence. Please don't contact me again. Then I blocked the address. I didn't disappear to punish her. I disappeared because staying would have destroyed me. Some betrayals don't end with shouting or courtrooms. They end with silence. And sometimes that silence is the only place you can finally hear yourself again.